The Sarasota Police Department blitzed the Newtown projects in the hood off of MLK, putting dozens of people behind bars all within 24 hours. Recently, the Sarasota Police Department has arrested almost every single homeless person in the city. Most of them are users, and a lot of them probably been talking about who got the work. On today's video, we're going to go over who these individuals are and the charges that they are facing. A lot of people think they're going to make a quick dollar on the streets, but now a lot of them are going to end up with very lengthy prison sentences. Last night while you were sleeping, the Sarasota Police Department blitzed the hood, making countless drug arrests in the city's north side, an area that has been historically plagued as a core of drug dealing in the city. From sidewalks in downtown to wooded lots on the outskirts of the city, Sarasota has been plagued with a homeless and addiction crisis, a crisis fueled by dealers. But now that's all coming to an end with a handful of arrests in the city's north side, the area most notoriously known for dealing. This is the heart of the African American community, an African American community of people who are sick and tired of their neighborhood being nothing more than an open air market. And perhaps this onslaught of so many arrests by the Sarasota Police Department could help bring some peace and tranquility to the people who call Sarasota home. When most of us think about Sarasota, we perhaps think about beaches, islands, and people on dream vacations, even world-renowned destinations like Siesta Key. However, the reality of everybody in Sarasota isn't a beachside vacation. For many, their own neighborhoods have become something like a prison. While tourists get to see Siesta Key and many of the city's beautiful destinations, the reality for people that live in Sarasota's inner city is very different than what tourists see. They're dealing with a real-life crisis in their neighborhoods, being overtaken by dealers. This new string of arrests comes as the city tries to get rid of all the undesirable aspects from visible homelessness, open-air drug markets, hoping to rid the city of a plague that has turned this dream destination into a nightmare for the residents of the city's poor inner-city neighborhoods. In 2023, the city of Sarasota registered 0 homicide fatalities. However, in 2024, 4 to 6 homicides within the city limits changed the notion that Sarasota was a safe place to live. It was very clear that the city had become violent and that the city's drug dealing, particularly on the north side of the city, was starting to drag the city's crime analytics down. For Sarasota to be a world-class city like it is, it can't have that many homicides. And that means that the police department needs to take care of a few things: reducing the amount of overdoses, visible homelessness, and of course the dealers that are leading to the shootouts that cost the homicides in the city. For Sarasota to really be a world-renowned city, it can't have dangerous neighborhoods. It can't have increasing homicides. All these arrests that we're about to go over have happened in the last 24 hours. The first person we're going to talk about is a man from Miami Gardens who was arrested in Sarasota for selling the herbal essence to Mary J. within vicinity of a post-secondary education facility. North Sarasota is home to New College and many other educational facilities, as well as a liberal arts school. All these facilities are the types of places that state laws in Florida have very clearly defined. If you are selling within 1,000 feet of them, it is a criminal enhancement, and that's exactly what this man got. Perhaps he thought selling a little bit of herb wasn't a big deal, but maybe he should have looked at Google Maps first. His place of birth is Jamaica, and the Sarasota Police Department is known for grabbing people who are not U.S. citizens and deporting them shortly after their arrest. Usually that happens after they're bonded out, but there's no bond for him at the moment. Many people innocently assume that there's no threat with this particular substance, but in this metropolitan area, it is far too common for people to lace the herb with fentanyl and other stronger substances to get people hooked on that. Meet Javon. He was arrested by the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office on 3 charges of selling within a school or a park. He's listed as unemployed. Within the last 48 hours, meet Andre Bell. Now this individual has 4 charges of selling within a school or a park vicinity. Those were criminal enhancement. But he also has possession of weapon charges as a convicted felon and using two-way communication devices for illegal activities. These are all drug trafficking related charges. His listed address is in the heart of the projects in the north side of Sarasota, an area known to be a hub for trafficking. It's noticeable that these apartment complexes in the projects also have cameras on every street corner. It would seem like an imbecile location to trap out of, considering that there's literally cameras on every corner of these projects. I'm not a genius, but I would assume that the fact that there's so many cameras in these housing projects would indicate to me that that's probably where most of the evidence is going to come from. Meet Mr. Joe Lee. Less than 1 mile away, he picked up 14 charges, most of them being felonies. His charges are mostly related to enhancements for trafficking the white. It's not clear if these charges are within proximity of an abuse center or into an abuse center, but this is a very common crime in this area where people will push substances into abuse centers because the people there are trying to recover. Somebody comes along and brings product right into those people's facilities. So that's a very serious crime. And his charges are, again, a lot of enhancements, using a two-way communication device. Of course, moving to work within schools, places of worship. He has those types of enhancements. He's got a lot of criminal charges. And of course, all these charges come with criminal enhancements because this is a community where you have churches, schools, and other areas like recovery centers. All that is an enhancement on top of every single charge. You would think that knowing that every single one of these facilities like schools, places of worship, and recovery centers is a criminal enhancement, that this would deter people in this community from doing this type of crime back there, but it doesn't. Meet Dennis from Mississippi. He lives in subsidized low-income housing, conveniently located right outside of downtown Sarasota. If only I could afford to live in that area. He is charged with 9 charges, most of them felonies. He's got 4 enhancements for selling within those type of facilities you can't sell near of. He has communication charges. He also has trafficking in the white, and he also has charges related to being armed in the commission of a felony. It's crazy to think with as many Florida residents who don't have access to affordable housing that somebody from Mississippi is living in brand new subsidized government housing right in downtown Sarasota. Meet Troy from Rhode Island. He was arrested on the city's north side. He said he was working installing pavers, but he was charged with pushing that product within the vicinity of a school or park somewhere in the vicinity of the city's north side. I just find it interesting that some of these guys are actually not from Sarasota. I was always under the assumption that everybody in Sarasota out here was mostly from here. At least that's what people tell me, but sometimes it's just more convenient to say you're from here when you're not. Meet Renard from Mississippi. He has 31 criminal charges, most of them being felonies. There wouldn't be enough time on today's video to go over all of his charges, but basically he has 2 things going on. Charges related to possession of a weapon, even though he's a felon, and then of course selling the substance near a school, and he has a lot of those charges. Interestingly enough, he kind of lives adjacent to a school, so that's pretty straightforward. Meet Mr. King from Ohio. He has 14 charges. Most of them are going to be felonies. He's also on the north side of the city. He got criminal enhancements for being near a park or a school while making his sales. He had the white, he had the fent, and he had the O. Those are 3 very strong and dangerous substances. He's got several enhancements for proximity. He also has several enhancements for communication devices. Mr. Lee, selling near a school or park. He only has 1 single charge. He is from Florida. Mr. Martin lives off of MLK on the north side of the city as well, and he has 2 charges of possession of weapon or ammo by a delinquent. So he's not supposed to have those weapons on him, but he had them. It's going to be like a high school reunion in the Sarasota County Jail when they get all these guys together like this. I mean, just think of the repercussions of like literally everybody in a neighborhood who's dealing getting locked up. Could this lead to a snitch-a-thon? Who knows what could happen here? I mean, it's not really normal for you to see just like an entire neighborhood get taken out like this. This could also lead to a huge vacuum on the streets where everybody who's using in Sarasota goes to Bradenton. And right now the Bradenton Police Department's mostly focused on immigration type arrests, which means all these junkies from Sarasota are going to hop on over to Manatee County, and the police is going to be focused on other stuff, which means it's going to get buck wild in Bradenton. This is Arturo. He's homeless in Sarasota. His charges were minimal related to possession and paraphernalia. He's homeless in Sarasota. His charges are minimal. He goes in locked up on the same day as all these other guys. I mean, people do realize that when homeless people get arrested, they have no problem snitching out their dealers. I mean, anybody who deals to homeless people knows that eventually they're going to get caught. And as soon as they get caught, they're usually going to snitch to get out. Because after all, they just want to go back to the streets. I mean, they're junkies. They don't have any morals or convictions. This is Tyrese from Illinois, and he was arrested for burglary. He lives 1 block away from MLK. Now this is Kenneth. He was arrested on the 30th for running a trap house out of North Sarasota. The interesting thing is that he had over 25 pounds of herbal essence, but he picked up like 4 or 5 new charges. Probably when they arrested all these other people, they might have seen communication. So he picked up some new communication charges, so probably related to all these other arrests. So he was already locked up. He just picked up more charges. This is Maurice. He's 26 years old, lives off of MLK. He has 2 charges for selling near one of those structures, and he also has another charge for communication device. A lot of these guys have enhancements because this community has churches, schools, all that in the vicinity. Eugene Michael off of MLK and Central, assault with a deadly weapon. Mr. Washington has an enhancement of selling and distributing within proximity of a child care center. Wanted out of Manatee County, arrested in Sarasota, just footsteps from the projects. Mr. Eddie Lee, originally from Alabama, lives in Sarasota, north side of the city, of course. He was charged with selling within proximity of a score park. All these arrests happening within about 24 hours of each other, all within the north side of the city, around Newtown and the housing projects. The city of Sarasota has evicted most of the city's homeless, and now they're going after the dealers, trying to clean up the streets of Sarasota. And while this may seem like a lot of arrests for one single neighborhood, this probably isn't even a fraction. But hopefully it's enough for the people that live in Sarasota to know that these types of activities carry heavy criminal penalties, and many of these individuals that we're talking about today are going to be in for a very long trip in the state of Florida's correctional system.